Hey guys, this is a build that I've been working for a while, and I'm running into a little bit of trouble with the electronics, so I decided to make a video hoping that somebody who's done this already a number of times can maybe help me here. So I have a QS-205 version 3 connected to a Sabvoton 96 volt controller. Can I show you the specs real quick? There it is. And the controller has a plug-in cable for a cycle analyst, which is connected right now. And the battery that I'm using is a 63 volt that's been charged to 69 volts. I have my starter cable, which I basically shorted because I don't have a switch right now, and these three I've insulated. These are the throttle cables from what I understand. But I'm not connecting to them right now because I don't even think this throttle will work. So what's concerning to me is that the controller, when I power it up, it gives me this green light indicator. There seems to be another, red light indicator. There seems to be another green light indicator that's just never going off at all. So I don't know what these are actually indicating, but clearly the juice is being sent to the controller, but ultimately this is the state that the whole thing is in. I'm trying to hook it up to the computer so that I can run the Sabvoton motor controller software to change the parameters, and I'm having an issue there as well. I don't think it's connecting properly. I'm never able to actually save the values. So the other concerning thing that I wanted to record here is that when I connect the controller and power it up to the motor and manually spin the wheel, I hear this knocking sound, which is coinciding with the actual signal, the red LED signal on the controller. So it's as if the controller is trying to tell me something, that there's something wrong. All the wiring, you know, I've checked it over. I mean, you can't really mess this up. It's all color coded, so I'm not exactly sure. But I just wanted to record this so that you can kind of maybe hear it. Hopefully, the video will do some justice. You can hear it. So as I spin, you can hear the motor knocking. And again, this coincides with the actual LED on the controller. If I turn it off, if I disconnect the controller completely from the power, this knocking goes off, goes away. So it's only present when I turn the thing on. So that's concerning. That it's as if like the controller is telling me that there's something wrong with it. So the other thing that I've noticed is that the cycle analyst is telling me that the voltage is incorrect. Well, is showing the voltage incorrectly, let's just say that. And it's kind of jumping around. You can see that it just went up from 66.8 to 0.5, 0.3, 0.2, and it's just dancing around there. That's a little bizarre and concerning to me as well, because I know that the battery is actually charged to 69 volts. I don't think the cycle analyst is incorrect. I think there's really something wrong with the controller. But, you know, maybe you guys have seen something like that before, or those of you who are more familiar with the Sabvotons, maybe you can explain this a little bit. Also, the mile per hour as I was spinning does not change. It just stays at 0, 0. And from what I understand, even without any kind of calibration, it should actually pick it up from like the Hall sensors or something. There's some sort of a sensor in the motor that should tell me the indication of the speed without even making any parameter set up. I mean, you know, even if it's wrong, like it should just vary. It shouldn't just be sitting at 0, 0, but it is. And so that there's another sort of like clue that there's really something wrong here. Lastly, the software, I really, you know, I'm trying to understand it, but I'm having a hard time even checking and making sure that it's actually communicating with the controller. You know, I followed the instruction that says that you do this through the communication preference here, and you know, there's a few COM ports. It seems to be okay if I press COM3, it doesn't complain. If I select something below COM3, it will say that configuration has failed, so I think that it's telling you that it's not connecting, but also COM4 seems to be working. So which one is it, COM3 or COM4? I really don't know. Regardless, you know, I go through the settings later on. I set my lack voltage, over voltage, rated DC, max DC, limit DC currents, and then phase currents. I then go to the motor settings and set the motor pole number to 16 poles, which from what I understand in the specs, that's what the number of poles is for a QS-205 motor. And then, you know, I'm really trying to do this, the debug. I set the whole angle test, I enable it, I change the test current from starting from about 10 amps to 20 something amps, and then, you know, it supposedly is supposed to turn right now. It's supposed to run and perform the whole angle test, but nothing is happening, and this is where I'm stuck essentially. So what do you guys think? You know, is there some sort of an issue with the controller, or am I doing something wrong? Again, I don't think I screwed up any of the wiring here. Literally, I just connected the controller to the motor and then the battery directly to the controller. No connections to throttles at all. A single connection to cycle analyst, and essentially a shorted, two shorted starter cables to actually start the motor. I know this works because I can, you know, take them apart and essentially the controller will turn off. So I don't think I'm doing anything wrong there. So yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know. This is the first time I'm setting up you know, a QS motor with a Sabvoton controller, so I have no experience. I'm just trying to follow up on whatever instructions I could find on Endless Sphere, and in particular on the ERT website, which is this guy here. Let me turn this off. Who Electric Race Technologies, who basically gives, you know, a step-by-step instruction, not extremely well written, but at least, you know, it gives you some diagrams. This is the best that I could find. I'm following exactly step-by-step for all of these settings, tailored to whatever I've bought in terms of the motor and the wheel and the battery that I'm currently using. And again, this is the state that I'm in. My gut tells me that there's something wrong with the controller. The fact that this red LED is beeping all the time, and you know, the green one doesn't go off at least once, and that there's this knocking sound in the motor when the controller is on, that tells me that there's something wrong with the controller. But again, I don't know. So yeah, unfortunately I don't have another one lying around. These things are like $400, so, or at least when I bought it, I don't know what they are now. So yeah, this is kind of a problem. I really, you know, I've been building this for quite a long time now. Well, essentially it's been sitting there until I get the parts, but now that I've received everything, I seem to be running into this issue. Not exactly sure what's going on. So if anybody has seen something like this before, or you know, you are more experienced with the Sabvotons, let me know. Also, it would be great to know how people have been able to connect the computer to the Sabvoton, and you know, am I doing anything wrong here with the actual port selection and the software? Yeah, cool. All right. this video has been long enough, so I'm going to shut it off now. All right, thanks guys.